Hello and welcome to In the Cockpit, Speedrunning AC7. This is a new series I'm starting that will show, explain, and I'll commentate on events that happen within the AC7 speedrunning community. We have an active and kind community here, and we'd be glad to have more Ace Combat enthusiasts or even new runners join us. The link to join our Discord will be in the description. Without any further ado, let us start with In the Cockpit, Episode 1, Supersonic Tunnels. The Mission 20 Tunnel Run. This is a personal favorite, and not only because I hold 2 world records in this category. Okay, maybe it is. Mission 20 has been uncontested for a while, and the Tunnel Run even less so I saw it as a perfect place for me to start as a brand new runner. I had experience with Ace Combat 7 before, I'd beaten the game a few times, but at the time I was still very new to speedrunning. My first ever true tunnel run was in the Exo 2S Strike Wyvern. Funny thing is, this wasn't meant to be a tunnel run attempt. It was simply part of my 5th place Mission 20 IL run, as you can see by the timer in the corner, which is off because, again, this is part of my Mission 20 IL, not a tunnel run. I thought it was the fastest plane at the time, and boy was I wrong. Surprisingly, my run in the beloved folding wing plane is still good enough to land me 2nd place on the leaderboards with 150.540. After that surprising 2nd place, I then looked to the world record holder at the time to see what they were using, and it turned out they were using the MiG-31 with SAMs, or semi-active air-to-air missiles. So as any good speedrunner would do, I copied them. I picked out the MiG-31 and equipped all 4 speed parts, both rudder parts, and a few missile parts. I had a good few runs, and many thousand bad ones, but the best I could get was simply improving my time while remaining in 2nd place with a time of 1:19.900. I was determined. I was 3 goddamn seconds off the world record. I could do this. And it wasn't until I started thinking outside the box. What other special weapons did the MiG-31 have? SAMs, LAMs. PLS though, this brick has lasers? So, seeing that the brick has lasers, I completely ignored them and equipped LAMs. There is one key difference between SAMs and most other air-to-air missiles, which is you have to actually aim SAMs, meaning you have to stay focused on the drone longer, and thus losing you time. LAMs are a fire and forget type missile, meaning that you can focus on other things. This is the one thing that got me the record. I actually doubted the idea at first, because I thought since firing long-range air-to-air missiles in an area that was not long-range at all, that they would miss the drone as it turned. I decided to try anyways, simply because it wouldn't hurt, and it was a cool theory to try out. I kid you not, 2 attempts later, I got the perfect run and fired my LAMs. They both hit and the drone was down. All I had to do was not die. Oh fuck, watch out! I just went through that wall. Let's put that in slow motion. I should be dead, but I'm not complaining. So now we just gotta fly up and the run is over. I get a time of 1:16.220, beating the previous world record of 1:16.930, a time save of 0.71 seconds. Over 5,000 attempts, and now I finally got it. In fact, I wasn't actually the first person to ever think of using LAMs in the tunnel run. Denim AK was the pioneer of this theory, and despite negative feedback, used it in a casual mode full game run. Denim unfortunately couldn't get it to work on Ace difficulty to submit an individual level run. I only recently found this out, and I felt like I can't claim to have made up this strategy if I clearly hadn't, so props to you, Denim. But hold up a minute, I said I had 2 world records in the tunnel run. I do. Let us travel to the mystical DLC category. The previous world record holder, Delano, was using the ADF-11F, which initially confused me at first, because it wasn't a very fast aircraft. I chose to use the Dark Star, which is by far the fastest plane in the game. It only has one remotely useful special weapon though, which is SESMs, a short-range aerial suppression air-to-air missiles. That is a mouthful to say. These missiles will explode if they're about to miss the target, meaning they will do some damage even if they miss. So, after much less time than the normal ace category, I took the world record with a time of 1:20.930, after saving a whopping 1 minute, 2 seconds, 330 milliseconds off Delano's time of 2:23.260. Now what does this even mean? How do we know how to calculate the time? What's the optimal path? I'm here to answer your questions, and let's begin by analyzing my world record run in slow-mo. The run starts immediately at the checkpoint, and then we start flying into the tunnel at max speed. We fly straight forwards into the second segment, because, well, it's the only way you can go. Then we fly to the right side at the third segment. It's on the inside of the turn, which means it is less distance and therefore faster. We then continue to fly straight into the next segment because it's simply less risky. We actually have to slow down in the fourth segment because of a bug I'll be talking about later. We then fly back into the center for the fifth and final segment. We'll soon end up in the under-elevator chamber and roll to the left to try to get the lamps as much up as possible while aiming at the ADF-11. I then move on to the repeaters, shooting 2 with my missiles, then 1 with my machine gun, as I don't have my missiles reloaded yet. I shoot down the remaining 2 repeaters with my missiles and start flying towards the center windbreak. And oh my god, my whole ass wing went through that wall. The rest of the run is just flying straight up at max speed and dodging the elevator carts until the end. The run starts as soon as the in-game timer starts at the checkpoint. The timer actually starts before the screen fades into gameplay. The run ends at the last frame before the screen cuts to black at the top of the windbreak. Parts, I cannot stress enough, are a vital part of this run. Equipping the right parts makes all the difference. And the parts I had equipped were as follows: Light Blisk, which increases my aircraft's acceleration; next-gen high-pressure components, which increases my aircraft's top speed; variable cycle engine, which increases both my aircraft's top speed and acceleration; Queen's Custom, which it's a very slight difference, but it is a difference, increases my overall maneuverability, stability, top speed, and acceleration, but only in campaign mode; new rudder actuators, which enhances my yaw maneuverability, which is required for turning at such high speeds in these tunnels; cutting edge large rudder, which enhances my yaw stability, which means once I stop turning, I won't continue to turn; new high energy propellant for my missiles, which increases my missiles' flight speed; and multiple enemy detection device for my missiles, which decreases my standard missile reload time. This setup of parts is what I found to be optimal after many attempts of testing, focusing everything on speed and yaw maneuverability. I just had 2 leftover slots to be filled, so I focused on missile speed so that it would hit the repeaters faster, and missile reload time so I could fire more missiles faster. I use the exact same setup for both my Ace and DLC runs, as that seemed most optimal to me, but in the future I might replace some of my speed parts with maneuverability for the Dark Star, because, well, it turns worse than the MiG-31. Now, like I said earlier, there's actually a bug where if you go too fast in the 4th segment of the tunnel run, the drone won't spawn in the under elevator chamber, and you'll be soft locked. Because, well, if you can't destroy the drone, you can't quite fly out of the space elevator. We don't really know too much about this bug. The working theory is that the player skips a spawn gate in the tunnels by going too fast, which is why I do slow down in the 4th tunnel segment. But that is all I can really say about the bug. Again, we don't know too much. All we know is it causes soft lock. Well, that brings me to an end. If you have any questions, don't be afraid to comment below. I read every single one. I will also leave a link to our Ace Combat Speedrunning Discord server in the description for anyone to join, whether you're just learning how to play the game or if you're an experienced veteran in the Ace Combat series. Thanks for watching. If you made it to this point, consider leaving a like or making that white subscribe button gray. Keep an eye out for more In the Cockpit, as this is the first of many. Bye bye!